Hi, this is Denise Nicholas, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
My name is Morgan Williams.
Ed Robertson, thank you for listening to this encore presentation of TV Confidential. We'll be back with a brand new edition of the program next week. Our guests will include actress and author Denise Nicholas of Room 222 and In the Heat of the Night. In the meantime, our program this week commemorates the recent passing of Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, the legendary master of the martial arts, who was not only one of the most iconic motion picture action heroes of the 70s and 80s, but who was known to TV audiences all over the world as Sergeant Cordell Walker on the long-running CBS series Walker, Texas Ranger. Chuck Norris passed away this past Friday, March 20th, at the age of 86. We're now going to bring you an encore presentation of a conversation that originally aired in September 2013 with Sheree J. Wilson. Sheree J. Wilson, the actress known around the world as April Stevens on Dallas, and as Assistant DA Alex Cahill on Walker, Texas Ranger. At the time she joined us in September 2013, Sheree had just produced and starred in Easy Rider, The Ride Back, a sequel and prequel to the 1969 classic film that offered a new take to the story while also remaining true to the original. We'll begin our conversation by talking to Sheree J. Wilson about Easy Rider, but as you're about to hear, we talked to her a lot about her experience both on Dallas and on Walker, Texas Ranger. Hey, Wilson, welcome to TV Confidential.
Well, good morning. So delighted to be with you this morning.
Very much delighted to have you as well. I understand that it took somewhere between 7 and 10 years for Easy Rider, The Ride Back to come to fruition. How did you first become involved in the project, and what led you to it?
Well, ironically, one of just my friends, we were ski buddies together, calls me up out of the blue. He's a lawyer from Cincinnati, and said, Sheree, you're never going to believe this. I've acquired the rights to Easy Rider, and I want you to help me produce the film. And it was just so out of left field. I was like, what? Aren't you a lawyer from Cincinnati? How did you come about these rights? He said, it's a long, long story, but I have them. And he said, I know you know Peter Fonda, and I know you know Dennis. And I have a great character that for Wild Bill Hickok, and I think Larry Hagman would be fantastic in the role, and you obviously know Larry quite well. So I really need your help. And, well, you didn't have to ask me twice. The iconic film Easy Rider, really changed independent filmmaking. I mean, it was the birth of independent filmmaking. And it was just such a wild and wonderful opportunity, but also, a big obligation to be true to the original. And then to find out all the history that, the reason there hasn't been a sequel for 42 years is because it was caught up in litigation for over 30 over the rights. And true to the original, that's kind of what happened with us. We had a sequel script written. And as soon as we got Larry Hagman on board and he was primed for the role, and we, had set up locations and started a week of principal photography and shut down over the 4th of July holiday weekend. Our entertainment attorney happened to be at a 4th of July party with Bert Schneider's entertainment attorney. And they said, oh gosh, we're making Easy Rider's sequel. He said, well, you can't possibly be doing that. Well, yes, we are. He said, well, who are you? The Malibu Movie Company. He said, well, no, I have a superseding contract, in the kitchen drawer at Bert's house that says somebody else owns the rights. So there is the big screeching of the brakes, and we had to go into a litigation over the rights for the next 3.5 years.
A few years ago, Sheree, I did an hour on Terry Southern. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I understand, so I know a little bit about the controversy, not only over who owns the film, but there's also a controversy over who wrote the film. So I
he definitely wrote it.
Yes. But so I have an understanding for some of the hurdles that you and Phil had to leap through
and jump through, and well, to our good fortune, we did prevail. Mm-hmm. We are the rightful owners to make up to 3 more sequels if we have the appetite for it. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. There may be a Mad Max, Easy Rider, a space one. But it's funny that Easy Rider: The Ride Back is not the original sequel we set out to shoot. Mm-hmm. That sequel is a bigger budget, and what happened is that they were just stalling. Bert, God rest his soul, was stalling, and we found out why, because there was a clause in one of the other contracts that said from the time you start principal photography, you need to have a premiere within 4 years. Well, here we are ticking at 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. We need a world premiere by July 4th. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's January.
Yeah.
And we still hadn't prevailed in the lawsuit. So we raised $400,000 at a time and ran out and shot. We wrote a prequel to our sequel script. So actually, when we shoot the sequel, there'll be a trilogy, and all 3 stories fit together, with the original being in the center. And the prequel, which is Easy Rider: The Ride Back, it is a sequel because it does go from the 40s, 50s, 60s to present day. Yet it uses the same characters. The definition of a sequel is using the same characters doing different things. Well, we certainly we didn't have Peter back, or Dennis. Unfortunately, his passing was not timely for us.
Yes.
Dennis did want to direct the sequel. But no, we have younger versions. We have young Wyatt, who is played by Patrick Stogner. He just looks exactly like a young Peter Fonda. But you're tracking the family. We gave Wyatt Williams, Captain America, a family. And we expanded on the mythology that Terry and Peter and Dennis so beautifully did in the original. And we just expanded on that mythology and gave them, how did he become Captain America? Who was his family? What happened to them after his untimely death? What has the family gone through in this tragedy of losing him so senselessly by the rednecks that, blew him off his motorcycle?
We're talking to Sheree J. Wilson, April Stevens on Dallas, Alex Cahill on Walker, Texas Ranger, and one of the producers and stars of Easy Rider: The Ride Back, a sequel and prequel that offers a new take on the 1969 classic while also remaining true to the original. Easy Rider: The Ride Back is now available on DVD, wherever DVDs are sold. We're replaying our conversation with Sheree as part of our commemoration of the recent passing of Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris passed away Friday, March 20th at the age of 86. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.
Hi there, everybody. This is Patrick Duffy, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Morgan, Daddy's not going to be around much longer. This has to stop.
I purposely used the word follow-up, Sheree, because I know in Hollywood, as you know, I know technically, as you say, a sequel has to involve the same characters, but there's a perception in Hollywood that sequel usually means make the same movie over again, and as you just explained, that's not what you did at all.
no, this is not a remake,
right,
by any stretch of the imagination. There are iconic images and scenes. I mean, there's a lot of ride footage. We have, I mean, this is an homage to Harley Davidson. We have 22 minutes of Harley Davidson motorcycles in our film.
Yeah.
It's also kind of the history of our country. And we have a huge veterans theme in our movie. Because Wild Bill, the patriarch, he's a World War II veteran. And he was blown off his motorcycle in General Patton's, brigade. He came back to the small town of Springfield, Ohio, and started building motorcycles. He was a custom bike builder, and he taught his sons that craft and that art. And these are the modern-day cowboys. Speaking of, Walker was really a Western. Mm-hmm. Well, these are iron horses. That's why the cowboy boots and the spurs. And so it pays homage to the original, and it's a beautiful look from our World War II decorated vet who also has post-traumatic stress disorder and has been living with that. And then his sons, one that chose to follow in his footsteps for Vietnam and one who turned yellow and fled to Mexico. And then you have the newest generation, which is my son. I play Peter Fonda's little sister. And my son is over in Iraq. So it has different generations of, the conflict that our country has been involved in, and just what that patriotism, how that affects a family, and how it affects it through the generations.
Yeah, as I say, it's a very interesting take. It's you have a dog?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Michael's dog interrupted our conversation both times I talked to him as well, so I'm used.
Yes, we have a little construction going on next door for renovation, and she's not happy about these workmen out there. That's
okay, because that's what kind of dog?
She's a golden retriever. She thinks she's a pit bull, though.
Well, I had a snowshoe Siamese cat that believed he was a dog.
Oh, beautiful. That's funny.
Yeah, and I know that you named your. I think I don't know whether it's the same dog, but I know that you named one of your dogs after the Ingrid Bergman character in Casablanca.
Ilsa.
Yeah.
Ilsa went to the set every day with me when I was on Dallas. She was the most intelligent dog ever. I trained her where Lassie got trained. She was on leash, off leash. I would just do hand signals, and she never barked. She never was disruptive. Larry and Patrick said, Sheree, if you ever die, can we have your dog? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you talk about a backhanded compliment.
I know. I'm like, excuse me? I don't think I like this comment.
But see, that kind of speaks to who Larry and Patrick were. I mean, because they always kept everyone going with their sense of humor.
Oh, my gosh. That was my biggest challenge. Every day was, how am I going to stay serious? It was my mantra. I would laugh so hard, I would cry my makeup off. And it was just, they were impossible to work with because they were ridiculously clever and funny, and we just had a ball. But
at the same time, going back to, some shows, they take a while to find their footing, and even when they find their footing, the set depends on the lead actor always set, or lead actors in the case of Larry and Patrick, always set the tone on the set. So I would imagine, especially since you came in 7-8 years into the run, that could be hard sometimes for an actor, but I understand they made it very comfortable for you.
They made it ridiculously comfortable. It was funny because, when you join a show that is, it's just a world classic and the most watched show, Who Shot JR, around the world. First day on the set, Larry walks up to me and he goes, "Howdy, you know your jokes?" I go, "My jokes?" He goes, "You know, your lines." I said, "I know my lines. I know your lines. I have everybody's lines memorized." And he said, "Then we're going to get along just fine." And it was just, your jokes and you came to work prepared, it was a dream job. It was a dream job because they were so good in their characters, and they knew them so well. It was just effortless.
And watching the show today, Sheree, I've come to have even more appreciation for you and your fellow actors on that show, because you have to be, I mean, especially knowing how close you were to Larry in real life.
Yeah.
You have to be a good actress to be mean to someone that you love in real life.
Because when the minute they call cut, you wink and give a hug. And that's when you go, it's just a wonderful world of make-believe. And so you suspend reality for a moment, and you take a breath and you walk into another reality, which is just a playful way for your creativity to be expressed, and sometimes real emotions to be expressed when you're really mad at the plumber who didn't show up that morning, or you're really mad at somebody else. It's like you can just let it rip and let it blast away, and then the minute you call cut, it's like, oh yeah, back to our playful and loving relationship.
Absolutely. Going back to Easy Rider, the Ride Back, Sheree, you were telling us some of the hurdles that you went through. On the one hand, obviously I'm very glad that you prevailed and were able to make the movie. On the other hand, I'm a little sad now that you told me that Larry Hagman was originally part of the project, and I'm presuming for reasons of health or other obligations he wasn't able to do it.
That is true. All of those reasons are exactly why. And then, beautifully, Dallas has its resurrection, and he went back to work. But, we have the best cast. I mean, whatever we've gone through and the challenges that we went through, and truly this movie is a labor of love, because all the money was raised through family and friends, and our executive producer happens to be, he pushed us over the edge and got us to the finish line, Vince Morella, and we just, every single person that invested, whether they gave 20 grand or 5 or 100, it came together really out of love, passion, and people believing in each other. And one of the things that Vince said is, he said, I don't invest in movies, I invest in people. And it's, that meant the world to me and to all the producers and director and crew, because we got it done. And we have an incredible ensemble cast. The patriarch, Wild Bill, is played by Newell Alexander, who just is phenomenal in the part. I mean, Larry would have been remarkable as well, but Newell just did a fantastic job. Couldn't ask for a better performance. And Jeff Fahey is the wild and crazy sidekick on the Billy bike, like the Dennis Hopper character. And Phil, who just is scary, is a resemblance to Peter.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he always look like Peter Fonda?
He has. And stopped, because he's a biker, too.
Yeah.
And so he's gone to, like, Milwaukee and to the Harley-Davidson 100-year anniversary and this and that. And everybody stops him saying, Peter, Peter. He's like, no. They go, oh, yes, you are. He's like, no, I'm really not. They go, oh, you're just saying that. They always thought that he was just fibbing, like trying to get out of his celebrity. But no, he always did have a striking resemblance. And the funny thing is that Phil, the reason it was so important for him to make this movie is that he said, I was this preppy Brooks Brothers suit and tie lawyer from Cincinnati, Ohio. And he goes, I went and saw Easy Rider. He goes, I took off that tie. I threw them all away. I never wore a tie again. He grew his hair long. And he said said that movie totally changed his life.
We're talking to Sheree J. Wilson, April Stevens on Dallas, Alex Cahill on Walker, Texas Ranger, and one of the producers and stars of Easy Rider, The Ride Back. We'll continue our conversation with Sheree after this quick time out here on TV Confidential.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-222-0511. 800-222-0511. Again, that's 800-222-0511.